Hi, I'm Trysh. I'm the Education and Youth Programs Manager with Wings Credit Union. I also oversee the Wings Financial Foundation, and I am the chair for QFIN, the Credit Union Financial Education Network. I've been in the credit union industry for 30 years. I originally started out in the collections area, and I did that for 19 years. And so for the remaining 11 years now, I've been doing financial education. I've been involved with the Credit Union Financial Education Network for about 11 years as well. And the scholarship program has been around for as long as I can remember. In fact, before I even took over the education area, I actually was part of the scholarship selection committee. So it's been around for a long time, and it's really there to benefit the Wings Credit Union members. And we have established 11 different scholarships, but it's all based around financial education and community support. Well, when I took the program over, it really had only been managed by one other person for quite a while, and it was all paper. So the applicants had to submit their entire packet in paper, mail it in or drop it off at a branch, and then we had one of our executive admins that would go through it all and literally black out the member number, the member's name, and any other personal identification information, assign that application a number, and then recopy it and then bring all of the applications down to me. So it's very interesting because when you're doing a process like that and you're sitting at a desk, and back then we had about 200 to 300 probably applications or so, but imagine the stack of applications that were on my desk. And then I had to reach out to the rest of the organization and try to form a selection committee, which that can be challenging too, because if you don't have a dedicated staff that can do this, now you're pulling other frontline and back office staff away from their full-time jobs, and you need to get the support for that. You throw into the fact if they're hourly employees and they have to work overtime to complete this, now there's an additional cost for this. So funny story is I used to actually take these with me to my daughter's dance competition and work on them on the weekends to get through them because they were so cumbersome. After the paper process, we decided it was time, as the applications grew and as the credit union grew, that we needed to have something a little bit more automated. And so we were fortunate enough that we had a great app dev department that created an application process that was filtered directly right into our online banking system. The problem that we had with that was when those app dev individuals moved on and went to other organizations, that we did not have the support that we needed nor the knowledge. So once you lose that tribal knowledge of how this process actually works and how the application works behind the scenes, it becomes a little bit more clunky and a little bit more cumbersome for those of us, meaning me primarily at the time, to go through and try to help troubleshoot and make this process be as seamless as it's supposed to be. We decided to invest in Kaleidoscope because we were starting to see an increase year over year with applications. And as you get more applications in, it requires more staff time. And we just simply didn't have the bandwidth by not having actually, dedicated employees to this process. Like I've alluded to earlier, we had to pull employees from all over the place to help with the review process. And then somebody has to manage those employees to actually hit the review line deadlines for, say, round one or round two. And so for us, we decided that we needed to get a little bit of help. So we started with just the review process. And so did a little bit of research, came across Kaleidoscope, and had them assist us with the review process just for year one to get us through those bumps. So keep in mind, we were still using our old system or our original system, and they were great as far as us getting a file to them and them going through the review process. Anytime that we're looking for new partners, we know that there's going to be an expense that is associated with that new partnership. And how do we actually sell that to our board or to our executives to make that leap and to make that investment? And I would say if you truly sat down and looked at how much time it takes to go through every application, and you looked at everyone's salary that's on your selection committee, you will see that the initial investment and the ongoing investment actually for this type of software is significantly less than the staff time and effort that has to be put into this process. So don't let the monetary piece of a partnership like this with Kaleidoscope, concern you that you're not going to get this pushed through. You have to do the work to really show what the value is in bringing in an outside partner like this to facilitate an inside program. When we started the review process with Kaleidoscope, it was amazing because there is no way that we could have gotten through all of the applications that we had received in the time frame that we had promised our members that we would announce the winners for. And obviously, as an organization and credit unions, people helping people, we always want to make sure that we are actually living up to our promise. And so for us, it was kind of a no-brainer to go through this process of review because we did not have to use any additional staff outside of myself to complete the scholarship applications for that particular year. The first year when we used Kaleidoscope, as I mentioned, it was all for the review process. And that was so fabulous that it just was almost a no-brainer for us to go ahead and take the plunge and do the entire process with Kaleidoscope from top to bottom. So it was really an easy transition for us. It freed up a lot of staff time, and it really made the most sense for us to provide the best possible experience for our members. Working in the credit union industry, we're always looking for partners and that listen to the needs of what we have to provide a good process for our members. And so one thing that was really great was that we had kind of already developed a process in-house, and we were able to take all of that information, give that over to Kaleidoscope, and we actually met with them, we sat down with them, they listened to what do we really want, what do we really need, what is the point structure? How do we want this process and this flow to feel for our members? And so it was really great. They were able to take what we had and kind of replicate it, but actually make it even better. We decided that we really wanted to have a dedicated account manager for our strategic planning and our vision of where we wanted to see our scholarship program go. And so by having someone designated like Megan, what was really great about it is it allowed us to not only create a relationship, but it also allowed her to really understand what the credit union's visions were and how we wanted our winners to be chosen and what we wanted our winners to actually look like and what we were looking for when we were going through the process. In addition to that, Megan did a great job by offering her advice on certain questions or rewording. We also had other great conversations about what else could we see in the future? What are some other ways that we could offer scholarships? Was it through a video platform? Was it just through the short essay? And in addition to that, we also each year over year, these last couple of years now, have added a few more pieces to our application that have really allowed us to understand who are the students that are applying for our applications and what are their actual needs. We started the process with Kaleidoscope in 2023, and in 2023 we had some record growth. We had right around 750-ish applications, and we were thrilled about that. Now skip ahead to 2024, we were kind of hoping for something right around the same, maybe a little bit more, but what we actually saw was 44% growth. And so there is no way that we could have done this process with that type of growth without having such a solid partnership with Kaleidoscope to make that happen. Well, we really don't have that, great of a scholarship program. We only get 30 or 40 applicants. And I understand that. But here's the piece where Kaleidoscope comes in is because they are the ones that are the strategic experts to give you the ideas of how do we increase the number of applications that are coming in? What types of things do we need to change about your application process? Are there new questions we should be asking? And so when I look back at my experience with this, we were right around the 200 mark, and then we went the next year we popped up to the 400 mark, and that seemed like a huge jump, which it was, obviously. And we had Kaleidoscope come in and do the review process. So then think about going from just the review process to the whole process. We went from 400 applications to almost 800 applications. And then again, from 23 to 24, saw a 44% increase. And part of that is the tools that are also provided to you, the reminders that you get to do to send automatically to your members, some of the different toolkits that they provide, some of the ideas that they provide of, hey, here's another way to, frame this message, or here's another audience that perhaps you could tap into. So really, when you look at it, you have to look at it as an investment initially for long-term growth. And I'm confident that you would see the same type of growth that Wings saw, regardless of how large or how small of an organization you are. When you start a new scholarship program, there's a lot of unknowns, and going through any type of new program, there's a lot of trial and error that has to happen. And when you're doing a program like this, where you are offering to take the money from your organization and invest it in another person's education, you want that process to be to feel very seamless, very professional, and very intact. And so I think when you're starting something off, going to an organization like Kaleidoscope that has all of the pieces in place already, has already worked out all of the kinks, it really makes a huge impact on how that new scholarship program is going to be rolled out and how it's going to look and feel to those applicants that are applying for your funds. Well, in my experience working in this industry for over 30 years, having good, solid partners is one of the keys to actually being successful and showing that whole concept of people helping people back to your credit union members. So from my experience, I would say that Kaleidoscope, again, has been such a fabulous partner, and they allow us to push the limits a little bit, think outside of the box a little bit. At the same time, while they're trying to really understand and get a good grasp on what the credit union industry is looking for, what we stand for, what our principles are. And when you find a partner that can do that with you, and you can show the success and the growth that we've had, it really, to me, is truly a no-brainer as to why you wouldn't go with an organization like Kaleidoscope that really does take the time to understand what their clients' wants and needs are. Well, thank you so much for helping our scholarship program grow. Thank you for being a valued partner to Wings Financial Foundation. And we are so excited to see how our applications are going to grow and change and look in the future.